Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment in our speaker series where we are interviewing the lovely speakers that will be joining us at Astro-Bash. Today, I'm speaking with Kay Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us, Kay. The first question is always explain who you are. If you want, you can put your sun, moon, and rising in there, and just a little bit of an introduction.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, my name is Kay Taylor, and I've been an astrologer and psychic intuitive for almost 40 years now.
Wow.
And I was naturally evolutionary right from the beginning. In fact, in the beginning, what I did is I worked Pluto, Saturn, and the nodes into my psychic readings, and I wasn't even running charts. And then over time, I started to learn how to run charts properly and analyze them. But it still took me quite a while to find Stephen Forrest and be mentored by him, which took what I was doing around evolutionary astrology to a whole new place of depth and nuance and complexity. So I completely honor all that I learned at the feet of the master.
Yeah.
Aries sun in the 12th house, Aries rising, and Pisces moon Mercury in the 12th house. So I am very much a 12th house person. And I'll have to say it's a little uncomfortable for me sometimes to say that I'm an Aries because there's so much Pisces and I have Venus on the ascendant opposite Neptune that, you know, there's a lot of Pisces and water influence in me as well. And in fact, Stephen's sun is right on my North Node. So for people who are evolutionary astrologers, you know exactly what that means.
Yes.
And for those of you who are listening and thinking, should I come to this evolutionary astrology conference? I would say, yes, this is what takes astrology and makes it magical, powerful, deep, and resonant. Yeah. Before I learned evolutionary astrology at this depth, I have to say that I would often feel that my readings were a little flat and I would veer back into doing intuitive work because with the intuitive work, I could reach people on a heart level, a soul level. Yeah. What I was saying felt resonant to them. Whereas if I was just more like talking head energy in more regular astrology, it was okay. It was like, okay, this is who you are. This is what you're going to do. This is when it's going to happen, but not why are you here? Yeah. What is fabulous about this life and your special gifts? And how are you going to go from, you know, who you are now into this butterfly, right? That is fully embodying your soul's path.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. I love the comparison you drew between being like a talking head, right? Factual versus connecting with people at a heart level. Because that's one of the things I'm looking forward to at Astro-Bash, and that basically is the energy of the conference. It's like, yes, you will be learning, but hopefully there will be more of like a heart to heart, soul to soul connection that I agree that evolutionary astrology is fantastic at kind of fostering. Speaking of EA, what is it about the practice that you love the most? What do you see as its benefits? How has it helped you or people that you know or people that you've helped? So what would you say for that?
When people feel validated on that level, they blossom. Like for many people, it's the first time they've ever felt fully seen by people around them or even in an astrology reading. And I feel that the nodal axis, especially the South Node, is more who people are than the sun sign for the first half of life. So people are reading sun sign columns and going, no, not really me. I mean, that was my experience. I didn't resonate very much with being an Aries for a long time, but I sure resonated with that Cancer South Node and Uranus conjunct. Like it was like, that was the heart of how I operated. So you're giving people this insight into the deeper levels of their operating system, and it changes people's lives. And then you factor the sun and the moon and the rising into things. But I see those personal planets and aspects as the locomotive you've got to go through life
Yeah.
and to accomplish what you're here to accomplish. But if you don't know what you're here to accomplish, like,
Yeah.
just not enough. It's not enough. So
Yeah.
yeah, people love evolutionary astrology once they have a really good session and understand who they are.
Yeah, the feeling of being seen and being validated is just like invaluable. And I also just have to mention, I too have my South Node in Cancer, although it's opposite Uranus. And as an Aquarius sun, I can totally relate to like not quite always relating to that kind of airy nature and feeling quite at home in the nature of Cancer. So that makes a lot of sense, and we have that in common. The next question is, what astrological misconception is out there in the ethers on the interwebs that haunts you the most?
I would have to say it's the way that standard astrology speaks of planets and signs as if this is like the God's truth. It's like, too bad.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you are this in that. You are a sun in Taurus. You are a moon, whatever. And acts like, okay, so here's your qualities. And then they list all the medium and low level qualities.
Yeah.
They hardly ever talk about what it looks like when it's evolved, when it's elegant, when you really have it the way it's meant to be. There's all this focus on the most negative qualities. It's like, you're an Aries, therefore you're combative and self-centered.
Yeah.
And you and I know from the Cancer South Node perspective that no, it's not going to be self-centered, not going to
Yeah.
be combative, going to be nurturing and caring.
Yep.
And so that the negative qualities being given as a fate to people, like,
Mm.
and people not understanding that they're actually meant to evolve their whole chart,
Yeah.
and not having the whole chart for people to understand. I think even if people are doing other forms of astrology, the psychological, Western, even traditional, at least if they would put the lunar nodes in as kind of a container to hold the rest of it. There's fabulous techniques in all these other forms of astrology, but to me, for some things you read online, like they're missing a key component.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what you said about like the negative being overblown. That's something that I see a lot, especially on social media. And then even how that can be taken too far, where people are like, I'm not going to associate with anyone who has this sign, right? And it just really traps people, it blocks people, it gets people like thinking a little bit too much about like, the negativity bias of it all. And they lose out on the potential, as you say. The word elegant was really beautifully put there, like the elegant manifestation of it
Mhm.
all.
Yes, and
Yeah,
I want to say too that negative can be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
that too. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. Confirmation bias in the worst way.
Mhm.
So let us know a little bit more about what you will be talking about at Astrobash, like a sneak preview.
Yes. So I am calling my talk Destination Revolution with an R/E. Did you
Mm.
think about what's the difference between evolution and revolution? Revolution moves faster, it's more intense. It's a kind of a wildness to it. Evolution, slow, steady. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Pluto and Aquarius from a personal healing, proactive perspective, and weaving into it the major transits, especially of Saturn and the nodes, that will be happening the whole time Pluto is in Aquarius. What I really love to do with astrology is help people understand that deeper meaning of any transit and get ready for it. So
Mhm.
yes, Pluto's in Aquarius, and that means a whole lot around innovation and technology and humanitarian energies, equalities. Yes, we know that on the global level. But what does that mean for each person individually? How do you get ready for that yourself?
Mm.
And within that time period, we're starting out with Saturn in Pisces.
Mhm.
Then Saturn is going to move into Aries and it's joining up with Neptune. So along the way, we're having these, I think of Pluto as a curriculum. Pluto and Aquarius is the curriculum. And then we have different courses that we're taking within it. And,
Mm.
and my my talk is to help people think about that and think about what things that they may be already thinking about, because I feel like the planets speak to us well in advance of the actual transit, and we get
Yeah.
those intuitive hits. I should get certified by OPA, right? That's the organization I'm president of. Or I should go to school and take something, or I should take a long trip and go and take care of myself. All these ideas come to us ahead of time. And when we see what's happening with the upcoming transits, we get validated about what it is we're actually supposed to be doing. And then we can do it. And then I feel like the transit acts like a key fitting into a lock, and you don't have to have the cosmos hit you over the head a whole bunch of times to get you to wake up.
Yeah. That's a much more gentler approach. I love that, Pluto as the curriculum. I'm just gonna like sit in that. It's so beautiful. And I love what you say also about like transits knocking on the door well before they happen. And as someone who has Pluto entering my 9th house, even some of the things you've said about certifications and travel has been on my mind for years. And I'm looking forward to having that door unlocked.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of last question here. What are you looking forward to the most at Astro-Bash?
The people. I have to say, the people. I spent a lot of years in Stephen's apprenticeship
Yes.
program. I used to go 4 times a year, the
Mhm.
Calistoga group twice, and then the San Diego group twice. And that's family. That
Yeah.
is a group of people who are generally amazing,
Mhm.
interesting, soul-centered people. So I'm looking forward to meeting people that I've known for many years. I'm looking forward to meeting new people who are interested in evolutionary astrology.
Yeah.
I have to say that that social connection and what you learn when you're at dinner talking to people or doing the stargazing or just hanging out in between lectures.
Yeah.
There's so much life force and love and vitality. I can't wait to go.
Me either. Even though I've not met a lot of folks, it still feels like a reunion in some kind of way, just the connectivity of it all.
Mhm.
That's so great. I look forward to meeting you there as well and connecting heart to heart, soul to soul under the sky. Before we end, where can people find you, website, or anything that you have upcoming that you may want to share?
Yes, my website is my name, ktaylor.com. Very easy. All my events are there.
Mhm.
I'm actually going to be holding a 5-day training in Borrego Springs
Mhm.
before the conference. It's part of the OPA certification program where we do what's called a peer group process, where it's working with ethical issues and the challenging issues astrologers face, doing readings for each other and practicing and getting feedback and doing business planning and branding.
Mhm.
And we will have a casita at a resort with its private pool and a hot tub to hold that event in. So if anybody is a practicing astrologer, you have to have at least 6 months of paid experience to attend. And it's only for participants and then me as the leader. So it's very in-depth mentoring. So I'm doing that in Borrego Springs. If people want to come and just spend 10 days in Borrego,
Yeah.
to do both events back to back. I'm also speaking at the Astrology Association of UK in October. And let's see, what else? I always have classes. I teach intuitive work. I teach astrology at all levels.
Mhm.
Oh, and I'm teaching a 3-week class for people who have Saturn in Pisces, who are going through their Saturn return, whether they are in the late 20s or late 50s or even middle 80s.
Yeah.
And that will be 3 Sundays for a couple of hours each week in August. So if you have Saturn in Pisces and you're going, I've got to figure out my life. What am I doing here? I think everything's wrong. I know the Saturn returns well. I've been through 2 of them myself, and I understand the Pisces well, and I will be your
Mhm.
guide doing reflection and healing and understanding what Saturn return in Pisces is all about.
Yeah, that's so needed. Like everything you've talked about. I'm really excited to perhaps join you in one of those offerings. That's so excellent. Okay, thank you so much for joining us and sharing a little bit about your perspectives on evolutionary astrology. We so look forward to attending your lecture. For the folks that are watching, be sure to go to www.astro-bash.com to stay updated about any new news, to read more about our other speakers, and of course, to register right now for early bird pricing before all the spots are filled. And we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, Kay.
Thank you.